well, Team Flash going up against Evil, I would definitely not count any of these players out.
Definitely.
As such, let's jump right into the draft.
Yes, you talk about the players from Team Evil. Don't forget, Sailor and Gear were basically the power duo of Evil Singapore all the way in season number 2. And now they have reunited again in a different identity alongside Team Evil, working together with Powerful, which has been proven quite a very strong in terms of shot calling, in terms of macro, and I feel like this is going to be a very interesting team going up against Team Flash.
One of the other powerhouses that we definitely gotta have to talk about. But for now, bans. We've got Kimmy that is thrown right out of the phases already, so it's pretty much understandable. Some of the other heroes that we definitely gotta have to talk about, right? Suyo, Lucas, Kalia, Hayabusa, Fanny, Jusin. They are all always heroes that is very available and of course very suitable to be banned at this point in time. But really we don't really see a lot of Suyo being banned actually. In fact, I think 0% ban coming up from Suyo so far. While Lucas, we are looking at maybe close to like 70% or somewhere along there.
I like the point of being brought up for Lucas as well. He's suddenly start being brought out into popularity because you know that the meta right now just kind of focus a lot on assassins. It's either the Joy or the Suyo. That's why you see the bans coming out from the Hayabusa as well. But now you start to see a lot more fighters and a lot more initiators coming in because of the CC immunity that Joy used to have, but now it's just slow immunity right now. And now it's being transferred into Lucas, someone that could kind of hold the line in the middle, in the front. Because right now, we mentioned about Kimmy, you need somebody to tank in the front line, basically to form that wall. And it seems like we're going back into that weird meta hybrid where junglers, do I want assassin or do I want fighters?
Technically, Joy still has his her control immunity as long as she gets the 3 perfectly timed dash, right?
That's right.
So at least that's still that, right? Now, okay, so here we have, at least for Team Flash, they immediately went out for a Valentina ban. And that straight out yells, we want the Lucas. As such, Evil immediately went on and went to ban out the Lucas. So that is one ban, technically quote-unquote wasted, over to the side of Team Flash. And they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. What are the couple of heroes that they would potentially want? And what is the hero that they believe will be first picked by the side of Evil? At this point in time, I think it's still relatively fair to say that Kalia is the hot commodity. It's either Kalia or Suyo.
Yeah, you talk
especially since we're talking about Evil.
Yeah, I'm sure you talk about Kalia immediately. I think Team Flash Zaze heard about it. Seems like do you have communications direct to Zaze? Is your headset connected to Zaze?
It's actually at the bottom of the table. This is a single buzzer. So we're actually tapping in Morse code.
Nah, I don't think that's the case. Well, I'm just pulling your leg. But anyways, Zaze hears you, takes away the Kalia, and don't forget Flash. Both of these mid laners, both Evil, Sailor, and also Kurtisi, they're very creative, especially when you put like Sailor into the hands, Valentina into the hands of Sailor. He can come up with something creative, but Team Evil right here, if they really want to throw something out of the ordinary, the Cyclops is still available, just to let you know, Abstract, and ouch! And also the Kagura, if you want to really go something out of the norm, just to try to throw everything off.
Thing, right? Yep. We know Sailor for the Kagura. But we also forget about one thing. Okay. Loi. Loi is definitely one of the other heroes that Sailor is really good at as well. Even though we haven't seen the Loi being picked up today, in fact, there is more of a resurgence coming in from
the other regions as well.
Other regions we don't... Technically we do, yeah.
It is one of the band priorities, right? That's why, the global repositioning to try to catch people off guard, to basically provide that push. Coach Carrot also knows it, takes away the chip as well. So which means that I'm feeling a little bit more Farsa coming out from this one as well, because the Team Flash taking away the Valentina means that they really want something big, something easy to set up, right? So now we have to take a look at Evil's first pick. Immediately Flash takes away the Phobius. It's a red carpet for Harith.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, that means that, Harith will always go for the Purify. So at this point in time, crowd controls and all the kind of jazz is definitely not going to be too much of a problem for the Harith. So we'll take a look a little bit more towards area control. We no longer have got the Phobius, but we still have a couple of mid laners that can play around that pretty well. As such, heroes such as Farsa, as you mentioned, Yves can also be really good. But when it comes down to Juicin too, not too bad. But when it comes down to EXP laners, I think that there is still a little bit of debate of how we want to play things around it.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like Flash really spicy right here. Goes for the Fanny pick. You just want to have to try to go ahead and pick up the Harif. And immediately I was thinking about the Khalid coming out from, which is something that Flash likes to use in the hands of Diablo. Going up against Harif, when you put down the Zaman Force, you really want to try to find a way to basically control that area. The first thing that comes to mind is the ultimate coming out from the Khalid. And in a sense, I was thinking more like very weird, even Juicin ultimate, right? Try to push the Harif out of the ultimate.
Okay, we've got the Badang, which is actually picked up by Evil. Not something that I personally would expect. Well, we also do have the Hayabusa that Vincent will be working on. So I think that that's definitely going to look good.
We don't talk about Harvest abstract. Harvest, no Harvest. Okay, no. Hayabusa not confirmed yet. Yeah. Okay, anyways, Badang is really good right here. You just want to punch the Fanny away. But there's no Harvest. That one's locked in, so that's why I can talk about the Badang. Oh wait, that's already locked in. Man, I miss casting, man. I have missed casting with you. We really can go a little bit unhinged this time round. Moskov being selected right off the bat, basically counteract against the counter for Fanny, but also you can use that to push away. Remember, we talk about the goal of this particular team fight against Team Evil, right? You will have to push Harif away from the Zaman Force.
We do have cross-map plays here.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
Right? Fanny as well as Moskov both are extremely great for cross-map plays. So at this point in time, I think that Evil will want to look at a little bit more mobility. They do have a Hayabusa though, so they're not too afraid. In fact, Hayabusa into the Fanny can actually be really good because you kind of trace and you kind of lock on over to the Fanny, especially if Fanny just kind of beeline himself all the way back to base. If there is no creeps, perfect. Every single hit's gonna go.
Yeah, as a gold laner myself, when I see a Hayabusa, I tilt. Because once you tag onto the quad shadow, basically you're done for, right? You just get Shuriken down and iframes, and you're just basically a sitting duck. So really wise coming out from Team Evil to go ahead again. You can follow that Fanny wherever she goes. Now we gotta focus on the bans right here. Team Flash, going ahead and taking away that Juicin right off the bat. I think coming out from this, definitely eyeing for the far side.
More crowd control is probably necessary for both of these teams, especially when looking at AoE crowd control.
Gatot?
At this point in time, Gatot is a good choice. Yes. Tigreal probably not due to the lack of mobility. I think that is a problem because the both teams have got very aggressive and fast-moving junglers. So if the Tigreal want to set things up, I think that they gotta have to go in tandem with what the roamer says and what the roamer does, instead of having the jungler just solo Mio and just do their own stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Team Flash is definitely feels like they're looking for the solo Mio because the Fanny can go in and out very quickly, find the damage onto the Harif and then immediately shut the Harif down, get out of there. And when Evil coming in, maybe even if you put in someone with a AoE stun like a Tigger right now, imagine you got a Badang with the ultimate and also that wall. That's so much damage being locked down into one exactly area. So Team Flash has to really play it smart, play it wisely. And that's why, that high loss, we're looking at the high loss, maybe could save the day with the Revitalize and also the Glorious Power.
So now, back over to the topic on
Kufra.
pacing. Wow. I actually like to talk about pacing because mid lane control and mid lane priority ultimately plays a very big part as to how both lanes work and how both lanes are all in all going to be affected, right? So as long as you have the lane priority, you more or less will be able to put up some assistance in a certain lanes, especially if your EXP laner is going to be a fast EXP. Okay. Right now, both teams, they have a slight inkling of what an EXP is going to be, right? With a Badang or perhaps even the Hylos. Personally, I would believe that both are going to go to the EXP. I would hate to have any one of these go rogue.
I feel like if Team Flash and Team Evil wants to go a little bit rogue, and the Badang can go to roam, the Hylos can go to roam as well.
Hylos roam.
So much disdain for that one.
Yeah, I hate it. And I will say the same thing for a Badang roam. Yeah, technically right now, roam position has been solidified, at least for me, that there is a desperate need for some form of pacing. You need to be quick on your feet, or rather that character needs to be quick. They need to be relatively good in wave clear as well. So at least they will be able to take some slack off of the mage, not needing to be locked into someone that wave clear as well.
Yeah, wise choice coming from Team Flash though. I think a little bit cocky in terms of the draft. Locking down the Cho, we talked about, you know, the mobility and the AoE stance. There you go, JPL. With the signature Cho coming in with the knockup, that's gonna set up things very wisely and can switch the Team Flash roster kind of into a pick composition against Team Evil, pick somebody off, and then after that we rinse and repeat. Team Flash feels like they've been doing this for past few games, right? In fact, one of the games they picked the Selena as well. They kind of went for a pick composition, but they need to try to end the game well.
Yeah. So now I do like the CC pickup coming in from the side of Evil. They would be able to deal with the high loss pretty effectively. EXP to EXP. Forgot about that.
That's a Badang roam, definitely.
Yeah,
CC going in. I guess a high loss is great, right? The percentage HP damage. Oof.
Yeah, it's okay. So there might be a chance that because there's a CC in the EXP, they don't want the high loss in the EXP anymore.
Yeah.
So double the.
Imagine Diablo goes in with the Cho assassin build as well. Then you
look, it happened.
Yeah,
look, it happened.
I love this. I love this particular draft, right? Like Zayce is basically keeping the his option really wide open, and now it feels like they're going for even more utility, going for even more picks. The Novaria locking in as that last in the last moment, going up against something like a clash composition. Like Team Evil has always loved to clash. They love to clash, but
Evil magic.
Evil magic. The way to counter that evil magic is to go for a pick composition. Pick them apart one at a time.
So I don't think that there's going to be a swap on the high loss as well as the Cho. Thank God. So that means that the Cho, that means that the high loss might be in a little bit of a trouble in the lanes, and that would in turn we need to look at how the mid lane is gonna look like.
Yep.
We do have a Novaria that's picked up, Novaria plus a Badang, both of which have very non-committal skills that will be able to wave clear well. So they're not exactly at the mercy of the opponent's mage by any means. There should be enough damage for them to clear pretty well. Yep. So they know they will never need to show any form of presence in the EXP. All they need to do is raid the opponent's jungle, stay over at the gold lane side of the river, and just ensure that their gold lane is going to be fine and dandy. In this case, Harif.
We talk about, you know, raiding the jungles coming out from the side of Team Flash. There you go. There's also JP on his signature Cho, known to literally stay in the enemy jungle for ages, forever, because of his mastery on this particular hero as well. Team Flash, you know, especially with Cho coming in from the side of the roam, they're really playing for comforts.
Oh, yeah, okay, so Evil is actually onto the Vexana, and then Flash is the one with the Novaria. So it got a little bit swapped. But I think that it is still generally the same idea. With both the Vexana plus the Badang, they can still be very non-committal in their lanes and can actually wave clear pretty fast. The only thing they gotta have to look out for is the Astrosphere that will be thrown out by the Novaria. But regardless, I think that both of these teams, Evil and the Flash, have got a pretty good grasp of the middle lane priority. In fact, very similar in terms of priority.
Yeah, like there's also the flexibility, right? We mentioned that how Team Flash going for more of a utility. Team Evil this time around, yeah, they can also start with pokes, right? You poke with, say, Labahono in second. Hades spinning around here, still unfazed.
Yep, it's not too big of a problem. It's just a small little annoyance coming in from the side of Flash. Just kind of let him know, look, I could be very well. I could be just around here.
Here comes round two. That's first blood given over the side of Hades. Allow, you know, Team Flash basically have a bit of control on the top lane.
That's actually more of a warning shot from the side of Hades, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Gear took that memo. He continued to go a little bit more aggressive against Diablo and took the L, which I can understand, right? You are a CC going up against a high loss. The main name of the game for you is to punish and bully the high loss out of lane.
Definitely, right? And so it's a very smart decision coming up from Team Flash to basically kind of support. Look at that. Diablo is already hit level 4, ready to use a glorious pathway, whereas CC, you know, still struggling behind.
So we do have the turtle that's currently available. All 4 members from the side of Team Flash has already hunkered down to deal with the turtle. But we do have the Glorious Pathway.
Glorious Pathway laying down, but Gear outputting damage. JPL doesn't have the kick as of yet, just trying to zone it out, buying some time. Hades picks up the turtle, but JPL in a spot of trouble. The slow coming out of Nobara ultimate. Hades jumping on. Gear at the same time. Gear the punching bag from the side of Team Flash against Team Evil.
Still at level 3, by the way. I do need to mention that. EXP laner still at level 3. That means that the whole idea of picking up the CZ has been crumbled and dismantled.
Yeah.
The EXP lane is no longer a winning lane for Evil, and this is starting to get a little bit difficult and touchy for Evil.
Yeah, Vincent has to play around Ven right here. The only way that Team Evil can get back to this is basically switch attention all the way down the bottom lane, because Ven does have a lot more killing pressure at level 4 as compared to Vanix.
So, this is a tough game. I will say that Evil now, they're gonna have to change
Summon
that.
Force, that's also an ultimate missing right here. Vincent trying to make a play out of there. JPL will have to drum away. Sayla flickering forward, but will not be able to connect onto any spells onto Team Flash.
Entire game plan definitely have to be changed. I do like to see that Gear have decided to make his way over to the middle lane to try to snag up some of these farms to keep himself up the level. But Hades,
man, Hades is basically using Gear like a minion right here. He's farming, using Gear to try to get even more higher levels at the same time, pushing Gear down to EXP deficit.
He's a jungle creep.
I'm sorry, Gear.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? But luckily though, he's got Brave Smite, and he's currently at level 5. So with the growth since level 3 to level 5, it would have put him in a more decent spot. Yes, he is still 1 level below of Diablo, but he's no longer that far away anymore. He still can do something in the lane. He might still be punished a little bit by Diablo, but it would end up being a skill-based matchup instead of a hero-based matchup.
Yeah, so basically Gear has to hunker down just a little bit more. He knows that he doesn't really have a lot of killing pressure, but hold on a second. Vincent, Quad Shadow does tag. JPL flashing that Evil's SG emblem at the same time, man. Just emoting right here. That shows the confidence and the comfort of JPL. Hades off the bottom lane will be able to take down Ven, which is basically where we want Evil to focus on.
Yep, so with Ven currently destroyed, unfortunately. But it's not like it's going to make any difference to the upcoming turtle take anyway.
So there's pathway right here. Vincent still snags onto the turtle at the same time. Here comes the ultimate from Powerful. Will not be able to do enough. Hades comes in with the ultimate at the same time. Sayla getting spun. Diablo taking that kill. Gear has to run. And Flash, the bloodlust is there.
So this is my problem, right? Powerful picking up that the Badang. Yes, you can set up a really good fist crack, or rather fist break, and build up the wall. But from that point on, you let out your fist crack. You're just sitting duck over there, not dealing any damage because you are a tank Badang.
Yeah.
You are cutting off the opponent's escape route. But you're essentially telling people, hey, free kill here.
No, it feels like, you know, Badang is like, I've got you trapped with me. But then Flash is like, you are trapped with me instead.
Yep.
Yeah, Force use the benches to try to stay alive just a little bit longer to buy more time. Vincent will be able to find the shadow kill onto Hades, but Hades will still stay alive just a little bit longer. Diablo on the chase right here. The stun will not be able to connect for now. Curtizi charging up that second skill right here will not be able to find it. Doing the damage coming up for Curtizi though will allow Diablo to finish that job. The burst from Team Flash.
1-7 is the current score line. 6 minutes into the game, we're already looking at a 4,000 gold deficit for the side of Evil. In fact, when it comes down to the objectives, top lane and bottom lane has already been taken down, with the next objective being the middle lane T1 turret. And only after that, we can pretty much and more or less expect that Flash will be able to take control of the entire map already, putting Evil in such a precarious spot with nowhere to realistically play. Fortunately for them, they don't have a Joy, because Joy in a backwards game is definitely very difficult to play. As a Hayabusa though, you still kind of need the purple buff.
Yeah, Team Evil is in the downward spiral, right? How are they going to have to try to jump out of that? Speaking about jumping up, JPL doing so. Ven jumping around, using Zaman for JPL will finally go down, and that's only the second kill in 6 minutes mark from Team Evil against Team Flash.
So, cross-map plays. Take a look at the top lane. We do have the Fanny that is just available to be just knocking down onto the top lane very soon. It's going to be a pretty big wave coming down soon. So Evil really gotta have to respond to that. And because of that response, we can apply more pressure coming from the side of Flash onto somewhere else.
And you mentioned about 12 smack play, but I have to hold that thought just a little bit longer. Glorious pathway from the side of Diablo. Hades trying to reposition right here. Will still retreat that turtle away from Team Evil, putting down even more goal deficit against Team Flash. Man, how is Team Evil gonna have to climb out of this hole?
Yeah, it's not exactly a 50-50 there, right? Hades is level 11 and Vincent is a level 10. There is a disparity in the retribution level, and that is going to make a bunch of difference. Unfortunately, Evil, they are very confident in their micro game, but I don't really quite see it here for now because of their lack of crowd control. The only thing that is working out for them is powerful single fist crack. I say everything wrong.
It's okay, but Cartesi, his fist is definitely powerful, of course. But then Cartesi, man, the Astro Echo just reviews everybody. The second skill just punch onto Van like a truck as well. Evo's getting poked out right here.
It doesn't even require them to bring down the T1 turret in the middle lane to take control of the jungle. They are already doing it and snatching the jungle away from Evil. Evil don't have that kind of damage to realistically be able to fight back unless the situation actually shows up right in the face of Evil. They just need to look for someone that is completely out of position once and try to snowball from that point onwards. But even for JPL, he is the engager, he is the initiator, and he doesn't really quite have that kind of tanky items. As long as they're able to find that lockdown, then that is all fine and dandy. But what kind of lockdown do they have?
Yeah, not only just the fact that, you know, as a Cho, you can burn away at another person's lockdown, right? And then after that, you just triple away. You basically just remove the debuffs, and you're basically nice and dandy. So I think just Team Flash understanding what needs to be done in terms of baiting out, you know, these CCs coming out of Team Evil. You mentioned the only one that can reliably land a CC is powerful. And that's it, right?
Yeah, the only other thing is probably the Terrify from Sayla's Wrath. But even I myself think that, yeah, you can definitely apply to that. But from that point on, you gotta have to smash out your combos. Sayla plays a very important role in layering these crowd controls and the damage. Because in terms of AoE, that is just Sayla and powerful. In fact, I don't even know what kind of damage powerful can realistically be able to do. AoE style for Ven, that will be the Synchro Fission, but everything else, Chrono Dashes are all single targets.
Consume players at the same time, removing the information but revealing one for themselves. JPL takes a lot of damage this time around. Powerful will be attributed to that kill, and now Team Flash, they're one member down. Powerful stepping forward as well. The ultimate coming up from the Vixana. This is exactly what Team Evo is trying to look out for, but Hades is right there, spinning for the kill. Vanix also joining in on the fight at the same time. And also will try to just pay back some of the damage, but now Team Flash is 2 member down, but looking at the retribution, Vincent taking the retry against Team Flash, but they will suffer at a cost. But Van turning around, taking down Vanix as well, and this is exactly, maybe this is perhaps the starting snowball that Team Evo's look out for from the shutdown gold.
3 for 3. Well, in the meantime, Turtles also take... Sorry, that's not a turtle. That is the Lord that has been taken from the side of Evil, okay? So we gotta have to remember that. There is definitely a lot that Team Flash is realistically trying to go for in that previous fight, but unfortunately it does seem like their follow-up from JPL was just not that fast. They did jump in, you can see that JPL kicked in, but there is a solid 1 second of allowance that wasn't done, that has no damage done at all. And I think that that is the main reason why they have so much problems. Because Diablo would have survived longer if he did not live.
And this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Team Flash, their main goal is to try to outpoke Team Evil. They were able to do that earlier part of the game, but now when Team Evil comes in together with Team Fire Magic, and speaking of which, they're also going to try to do that again. Try to tempt that magic, try to tempt that fate at the same time. There's also going to be a spell. The destruction landed. I don't think Vanix is going to take it, but Team Evil routed back for now.
So we have got the gold lead that has been decreased by a tremendous amount. We are only looking at about 3,000 gold lead in favor for Flash SG. Middle lane T1 is actually still untouched over for Evil, while Flash SG's T1 is actually almost at the brink of destruction. The moment that Evil is able to touch that turret, just sneeze onto it, I think that it's more or less enough for them to take quite a bit of control and will make things a lot simpler for them to hide within of brushes and not too afraid of overextending anymore.
Flash is just buying time. But I mean, both teams are trying to buy time. Flash is trying to raid the countryside to basically put pressure in the mid, but Evil is still unfazed. Evil, on the other hand, with that Vincent steal on that Lord, will be able to just buy some time just for themselves. You mentioned about the goal deficit is starting to collapse just a little bit more. You know, he's starting to pick up the items, and that's exactly the time that he's trying to look out for.
But now we do have to cut down, but it does seem like we are looking for Van almost taken down. But Hades might be looking at a separate angle of attack. Didn't see quite much, and the separate angle of attack is actually the T2 in the bottom lane.
Yep, raiding the countryside, exactly what I was talking about, right?
What did the countryside do to you?
I come from the countryside.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Man, I miss home already. But now Team Flash, you know, they're trying to push down that mid lane, and that's exactly what, you know, Team Evil throwing out even that ultimate, trying to wave clear that extremely quickly, trying to make sure that as long as the center lane, mid lane, trying to stay alive. But Hades just raiding once again.
Yeah, the countryside.
Yeah,
it's all about the countryside. You know, from now on, we're gonna keep calling it the countryside.
the side lane's the countryside, huh?
Yeah, suddenly the countryside. The middle lane is like Singapore.
So what? The EXP lane is the EXP lane island where you guys farm?
Just pull out the gong.
And the goat lane. I see one lane and one lane only. Hades jumping over the wall right here. Yeah, activating that vengeance. Powerful coming in. The Fist Cry will not be able to land. Vincent with the shadow kill as well. Powerful picking up a double kill. Team Evil found the magic that they've been looking for the past 10 minutes. And they finally found against Team Flash.
That is exactly the combo that we have been asking for. And this is what the drop is made for.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, they're lacking on Vakimi. Or else everyone else will be just sucked into the middle. But regardless, this is good enough, right? As long as Tao is able to set something up, then Sayla will go all ham.
Vincent right here, the jungler right here, they're looking at the Lord. Team Flash, Curtizi and Vanix. There's no Hades around unless, you know, Vanix was able to steal that away. That's going to be the Astro Echo committed by Curtizi. No way for Team Evil to allow Team Flash to come in. The Fist Cry and the ultimate coming up from Powerful, catching on to Curtizi, and Evil managed to turn the tide just a little bit. A small play in the early game now converted into something else.
What exactly is going on here? We are starting to see that Flash is catching their breath against Evil.
Man, Flash woke up on the left side of the bed today.
Hey, what's wrong with the left, man?
You're not supposed to wake up on the left. It's bad omen.
Really?
Yeah.
Feng Shui?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
You
it.
should have woken from the right side of the bed, and it seems like Team Evil, they're the one that woke up from the right side of the bed and pushed Team Flash off
What if
that
the
bed.
exit of my bed is on my left side?
Then you need to check your feng shui.
Okay, fair enough. As we continue to move on 15 minutes into the game, we do have Evil that managed to push the rest of Flash. Oh, I don't think they're gonna go down that easy.
Yeah, especially when, you know, Gear does have some levels right here, and he's actually putting some good damage against Hades. Gear is no longer the minion at the 2-minute mark. Now Flash has to pay a lot of respects onto Gear right now.
Unfortunately, the Fanny just can't burst him down. Of course, we're talking about a Vengeance that's been popped by Gear. He also did pop the Yo-Yo Blitz, so it is an investment. I would say that it is also an investment from Hades.
And
it's not too big of a deal, though.
Curtizi is basically just trying to outhook Team Evil. This is exactly what happens, right? Team Flash enter with a good game book in the early game, and then after they throw it away during the mid part of the game. Handshakes is bad team fights against Team Evil, and this is exactly what we're talking about. The Team Evil magic, Abstract.
Oh man, okay. We're looking for that opportunity and waiting for that time. Powerful goes in, Fist Crack, but that's not gonna do anything. We do have the Astro Echo that's thrown out though, so everyone's hitbox has increased. Brought Van to a pretty decently low level, so this is actually the opening that Flash SG would be able to dish out. They still have got the intimidation factor, and they still have got the damage that they can churn out over to Evil to say, hey, we're not too out of the game just yet, don't toot your own horn too much.
Yeah, definitely right. Team Flash slowing down the pace just a little bit more. They're losing turrets already. Earlier just now, Team Flash was literally playing on Team Evil's side of the map. Team Flash right here. Now the map is split in half.
I definitely would say that Team Flash's way of playing is a lot different now, I suppose. They're not that dominating. It's either that they are not dominating, or the standard of gameplay of MPL SG is just higher now.
Yeah, you start to see the improvement coming out of Team Evil, right? Ooh, Vincent will be able to dodge that damage away. Now you start to realize, Hades starts to realize that he cannot even assassin the other assassin on the other side.
You can't. You gotta play as a team now.
Yeah.
The solo rodeo kind of thing no longer is gonna work out for Hades. He's probably maxed out in items, but he can't do anything here.
Yep. Right now, it's just all about buying time for both of these two teams. Team Evil was able to buy some time early just now with the second Lord takedown. Team Flash, on the other hand, has to abuse the mobility, right? Basically, play ring around the roses against Team Evil. Just take a look at how Team Flash is kind of spread out like perfect butter, peanut butter on the bread in breakfast in the morning, whereas Team Evil likes to clump up like Jello or something. I'm hungry now.
Yeah, you did that to yourself.
I don't know where my analogies is going on, but then again, I could definitely say that Diablo is a dead one right there, getting caught by 2 ultimates, and maybe that's worth it now. There's not a lot of frontliner coming out from the side of Team Flash right here. JPL will be next on the block. It's going to be Hades getting clarified right here, try to spin for the win, but Vincent is still right there. Vanix tried to output the damage, Gear goes into the Vengeance at the same time. Hades will get deleted by Sailor, the damage explosion. Vanix, the Lord! Vanix comes back, picks up a double kill, tried to turn things around against Team Evil, and now Vanix will be able to try to do the damage against Vincent right here. Powerful, but Vanix just shut down the triple kill. The only one left for surviving from the side of Team Flash.
Oh, hell, Lord Vanix is still around.
Definitely.
And he is definitely still going to be hunkering down and just... No, in fact, not hunkering down. He wants to end this. He wants to bring as much damage as he can over to the turrets.
Yep.
He can realistically be able to do quite a lot. In fact, I don't think the Powerful can deal enough damage.
Powerful was holding on to the ultimate. It did not go off. That would be a dead Vanix if he actually cuts him off. That must be of destruction. Not too sure whether he's actually going to commit of that. Ben coming in to save the day for now. Team Evil still keeps their base intact.
No realistic damage to the structures of Evil. Nothing realistic just yet, as we don't have any proper gratification to the upgrades of Flash SG, right?
Yep.
No mega creep just yet, but at least it does help a lot if Flash actually take this Lord, because that would guarantee 1 turret destruction the moment that the Lord actually crashes it.
Same could be said over to Team Evil though. They're hungry already. They're hungry, and I'll take a look right there. Just literally stacking both Sailor and Powerful right hit there. Powerful, all the ultimates are up from both of these two teams. Vanix does not have the SOD as of yet.
So, continuing on as the Lord is gonna be finding himself at about 50% HP, they're preparing. Flash SG, they're preparing as we are looking for an ankle.
JPL, that's going to be okay. We'll be able to single out Vincent. Vincent goes down for the count at the same time. Gonna have to take a look at the Lord. Hades picking out that one. Vanix going a ham onto the team of Team Evil. The Lord and the Savior of Team Flash right here. Just outputting damage all the way in the back line. He continues on ignoring the CC damage. Katizi slams that actual meteor right into his face. Van, the only one left alive, but now with 2 members, the tag team of Katizi, Hades, and even Vanix joining in for the count, allowing Team Flash to secure the Lord.
Now, unfortunately, that is game. This time out, I will definitely say that the amount of downtime coming in from Hades is a lot lesser, and they found more spins to win in order to output all of those damage. And not to forget, mobility as well as positioning from Vanix that ultimately played the way of the game. They opened themselves and they kind of like spread themselves out very evenly to make sure that that Zaman Force does absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong though. I would say that Van stayed in his Zaman Force as per game. He knows that he gotta stay in his Zaman Force. And he used that time to kill, I think, Diablo. So that is great. But after that Diablo is dead, he no longer has Zaman Force. He's still got 3 more person to deal with. What do I do?
Yeah, it's all about that consistent burst versus that consistent DPS, right? Ultimately, this one, it is Vanix that's landing down the DPS constantly, the reliable, as long as he's outputting the basic attack, he's basically outputting damage, whereas Harif, once his Zaman Force is down, like what you mentioned, basically the Harif just has to wait for the next Zaman Force, right?
So, it really just boils down to being able to control in that area and win in that one fight. The moment the opponents have got enough mobility or they spread themselves out far enough and wide enough, then there's realistically not much that Sailor himself as well as Van could possibly do. So I think Flash just figured out and just played their game.
Yep.
Let's just split up. Let's just split up, and the moment that chaos arrives, then they're like, okay, Hades tag team with JPL, Diablo stick over to Van, Vanix and Curtizi, you guys do your thing and make sure that you guys don't stay close to Diablo. So the main thing is the taunt is onto Diablo. He gotta have to take the attention away from Van.
Yep. You can start to see, like, you know, Team Evil invested so much trying to take down Diablo. You talk about instant gratification, it did not pay off well for the side of Team Evil. Yes, you are able to take out Diablo, but how do you deal with the rest, right? You can start to see Team Flash as well. You know, Curtizi is literally poking Team Evil to the depth. That last Lord fight, if Curtizi wasn't able to bring down Gear's health down to that low, I don't think Team Flash has the confidence to even enter at all.
This is by no means an easy game for Flash at all. This is probably one of the other games that they are really hanging on and trying to catch their breath.
Yeah.
In fact, they're drowning. They just have a single nostril that is like outside of the water that broke the surface tension. Like that single nostril. The other nostril is in the water, okay?
I'm actually imagining that in my mind. I'm imagining your nostril.
Just a little bit lower and they're sucking in, you know, water already. They're that close to defeat.
Yeah, but then you ask the question, right? Is Team Flash on life support right now, right? Even against
No, they just have one nostril outside. They don't need life support yet.
Yes, life support. I call that life support. If you have to rely on one single nostril to stay alive, I call that life support because, you know, they don't really have a very good day number one, and now Team Evil show that, hey, you know, they're starting to, you know, be able to abuse the mistakes that Team Flash did, albeit Team Flash realized the mistake halfway through the late parts of the game, took back that notebook they threw out in the window from the window, and then play the poking game once again.
Now, it just kind of... Okay, so now comes from your opinion. Because for me, there is so much things going on.
Diablo is the most handsome player in the world. That's my opinion.
Completely...